Hi, this is Maury Moreland Morrison, here to tell you Geico has more than just great savings. Much more. Yes, while Geico could help you rack up more moolah faster than you can say metamorphosis, they've also been the fastest growing auto insurer for more than 10 years. That's more like it. Furthermore, Geico has fast and friendly claim service. That might seem like an oxymoron, but it's not. All the more reason to say no other auto insurer has more than Geico. Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the War Room. We got Dez, Kill, Jimmy, PJ, B. Austin, the Hot Block Commander. How you want it in a 1 or 2 hour show to keep the brain running with the premise to talk sports on a national level. Roll with the topic, sorta like the rebels. When it's game time, they like the Fab Five during prime time. Sports conglomerates speak their minds a little bit. For sports medicine and sports veterans and greats. The 4 for 26, so the war ain't Kuwait. It's the War Room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys diversified and educated.
What's good, War Room family? You are once again live in the War Room, brought to you by War Room Sports and the War Room Sports Podcast Network. I'm one of your hosts, Devin McMillan. I'm at the War Room Roundtable with my team, the greatest team in sports talk, the War Room Generals, the Bull B. Austin in the house, and Jimmy the Blueprint will join us in just a few minutes. Man, the big ball of trouble in Little China that we talked about last week has been doused with the help from an unlikely source, and we'll discuss that as well as what's going on in the NBA, NFL, and more. So keep it locked right here. And to get in on the conversation, make sure you join us right now in the JW Philly Realty chat room at blogtalkradio.com/The War Room, or join us on Facebook or Twitter at War Room Sports. You can also call us directly in about 30 minutes when we open up the Digital Extreme Tech Hotline at numbers 323-410-0012. Before we get started, we just need to remind you that during the week when we're not live on the air, be sure to check out the War Room Sports Podcast Network. Besides our own podcast, the War Room, you can listen to shows such as the Broad Street Line and the Broad Street Line Express with Roy and Chris, the Tissue and the Tape Hip Hop Show with Phil Maddock and Savard, John Appetit with the Burtons, On the Couch with the Wilsons, Quick Slants with Fred Perdue, and a whole lot more. Just visit warroomsports.com, click on the WRS Podcast Network tab, or go to our free mobile app and click the network tab there. B. Austin, what up, dog? I guess we can ask Jimmy since he's right in that vicinity. But I'm pretty sure you didn't travel up north to join the Free Meek Mill rally that went on in Philadelphia.
Yo! Why Nicki Minaj take every opportunity to body that boy? That's all I got to say about that.
I don't know how to feel about this whole thing. I had my head down all week, man. I kind of felt bad for my city. You know what I'm saying? On a larger scale, okay, we understand we're protesting the, American judicial system, but why did we have to wait to make this kind of showing for a rapper who likes to get in a lot of trouble with that? Why do we have to wait for him to be, quote unquote, unjustly sentenced for parole violations? I just don't understand it. I mean, there are literally buses riding around the city, Free Meek Mill on it. Julius Irving showed up to a rally about freeing Meek Mill. It kind of makes me a little sad for the city because I'm like, is this all we got? You know what I'm saying? Is he all we have in the city that we? I don't know.
We used to be one of those cities that was highly respected and regarded across a number of different circles, whether you wanted to talk about the arts, jazz creativity, whether you wanted to talk about the thespians, you wanted to talk about industry, you wanted to talk about do for self and a renaissance, an economic renaissance in the black community. Even if you wanted to talk about them boys doing that thing out there on the corner, like all the way boxing, basketball, all the way across, we were a highly respected piece of American geography. And now we're the laughing stock in a lot of circles, especially amongst younger generations who don't really give any credence to a lot of the things I'm talking about because they saw the city's favorite rapper hitting a boxing bag like, never mind.
Yeah, so it
Yo,
was just
free me.
Like, I've seen conversations on this on social media all week, and I've actually saw some folks calling other folks that C word, that C train coming word, because they didn't agree that the people should be out there rallying for Meek Mill. Some of these conversations got interesting. I mean, I stayed out of it, because it's definitely not my place. I don't have much of a say in this whole thing or an opinion. Besides, it did seem a little embarrassing to me, and maybe there's some things that I'm not getting or I'm not looking at correctly, but I don't know. Somebody would really have to sit down and explain it to me. But anyway, while we're still confused about why our city held a free Meek Mill rally, we're going to talk about what happened this week while y'all were on the grind. And On the Grind is brought to you by DirecTV. If you'd like a better TV experience than cable has to offer, including some of the most extensive sports packages offered by any service, go to directtv.com. Order yourself a better TV experience. If you call yourself a sports fan, then you got to have DirecTV. Creed, did you see the first installment of Creed? I guess it would be considered, the 95th installment of Rocky, but it was the first installment of the reboot, Creed. There are some rumors going around this week about what Creed 2 could possibly be about. I saw a rumor that said they were going to somehow have Creed mixing it up with Ivan Drago's son. However they're going to make that play out. Oh. Now, I don't know if this was just rumors that was started somewhere on the internet and just picked up some legs, but how would you feel about a storyline that would pit Apollo Creed's son versus the son of the man who stretched his boots and killed him in the ring? Like, too corny or what?
Yeah, I think that either you have to up the ante with the writing, or you just gotta let Rocky die, man. Let him die a clean, honorable death. It's been a great ride. He's got a statue. Let Rocky die. Let Apollo die, man. I'm not trying to see any more of these movies, man.
But I actually thought Creed was a nice little reboot. I thought they did up the ante on the writing, because they had the team with Michael B. and I can't believe I can't think of the writer director, because they work together a lot, and I believe he's actually doing something with Black Panther as well. Coogler is his name, Ryan Coogler. So they did up the ante a little bit. So that's the only reason I'm like, okay, at this point, if they're going to do a part 2 of Creed, and this is a part of the storyline, it sounds corny to me at first, but then I'm thinking, I trust Ryan Coogler. So maybe he can write it in a way where it seems kind of, none of it's believable, but I trust Ryan Coogler. So if that is what it's going to be, I'm in. I'm in for it. I'm a Rocky stan anyway, so the whole franchise already got me in some panties. So
yeah, you panties over Rock, but no, man. I'll talk all the ish that I want right now. If the movie comes out, I'm probably going to see it grudgingly because I always do. Rock.
All right.
Something got to represent Philadelphia.
There was a big matchup in the NBA. I don't know how, big, but LeBron James and the Cavs were in New York earlier this week to play the New York Knicks at Madison Square Garden. They had a morning shoot around, but once they were done, that New York traffic, they had two options: either wait for the bus and be in 45-minute traffic to get back to their hotel, or actually go down and catch the subway and have a 6-minute ride back to their hotel. So the whole Cleveland Cavalier team opted to catch the subway. While these guys were on the train, LeBron James made some videos for Uninterrupted. And in my humble opinion, actually, it just seemed like what it probably was. Some kid from, the sticks, rural America, who's probably never or just a few times in his life been on a subway in any big city. He was on the train and he was a little bit excited and, kind of acting like a high schooler, even a middle schooler in some instances, on the train. Ended up bothering the guy sitting next to him because he was, like I said, he was recording himself. Then he puts the camera on that guy and says like a little smart remark. And when he realizes he's being filmed, he puts his hand out and says, "Could you not?" So, of course, that went viral. And the "Could you not" is like the guy's tagline now. But did you see the video of LeBron and the Cavs on the train and how the whole thing went down?
I didn't. I didn't.
You gotta
heard about it. I heard about it. I'm going to. This is a part of the generational thing. This is part of the reason why people think that I dislike LeBron James. Like these little contrived, extra drama queen, attention-seeking. And understand, this in and of itself isn't a big deal. It's not a big deal. But LeBron always finds every 2 to 3
I think it is, though. There's rules to this. Like, if you do that with the right person on the subway, people don't get on the train, especially in a city like New York, to be bothered. You know what I'm saying? You caught the right one.
And they don't care
who you hands. You didn't catch some kind of weapon, but you're playing with something that could be serious when you're on the train in New York City bothering people. So it could have been a big deal.
And they don't care about your celebrity either.
Yeah. That's weird. I mean, he had security on the train with him because after the guy got up, I guess the woman who was sitting further down on the seat, thought there was extra room there. So she tried to move over, and the security guard basically told her, I think he might have even touched her, told her to move over a little bit. You know what I mean? So it was a weird scene. And your man Michael Rappaport doesn't like LeBron James, so he took to his video account, whether I don't know if it was Instagram, YouTube, but he got on and flamed LeBron because he's from New York. So he got on and flamed LeBron and tried to teach him a little bit of subway etiquette in his own profanity-laced way. But yeah, it was a situation where, like you said, it's really no big deal. But depending on who that was sitting next to you when you're clowning around on the train, like it could have been a big deal. But incident averted.
Do you know? Have you heard the story? Have you heard the backstory on why Zebrahead doesn't like LeBron?
Yeah. He's told the story a few times. He actually had a book that came out recently, and he told the story in there. Because I saw an interview recently where somebody asked him about the backstory because he's told it before, but he wouldn't tell it because now he wants you to read it because he's trying to sell them books. So it's very interesting, though. It had something to do with his kids and how LeBron treated his kids when they met. But he really doesn't bang with LeBron James
at all.
Called him top 5 corniest dudes in the world. He said 5 dead or alive corniest dudes on the planet. So yeah, he was kind of upset about it. All right, well, your your president is back at it again. Well, was back at it earlier in the week on his Twitter account. It's common knowledge now, at least in the sports world, that Donald Trump at least had something to do with LiAngelo Ball and his two UCLA teammates being released from the authorities over in China. So when they were just set to come home and they hadn't gotten home yet, he tweets, "Do you think the 3 UCLA basketball players will say thank you, President Trump? They were headed for 10 years in jail." So I'm asking you, B, like, is a tweet like that necessary? Like, it's like nothing this guy does is presidential. You're the president. There's no reason for you to be out, like, thirsty and seeking gratitude because you did or said anything that helped these 3 American citizens out abroad. Like, I don't understand what he's going for, but we know Donald Trump is the ultimate narcissist, so it doesn't really surprise me, but it's just like, dude, you're the president. When are you going to realize
this can't be real, yo. This can't be life. This can't be life, yo. I saw it. I heard about it. I saw the majority of Americans taking the time out to diss the 45th. And then I saw, some defense of that behavior, and we know what the motivation for the defense is. I even saw some pointing to the 44th president and what he would have done and how he was at fault even for LiAngelo's behavior. Like, I don't, it's fuckery. It's fuckery. I can't, man, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I don't know, because, I was having a conversation with somebody and they were convinced that he helped these guys strictly because he's the commander-in-chief and he did it out of the kindness of his heart. But I'm like, if that's the truth, then why do you have to tweet to try to get some thanks and some gratitude for doing what somebody, claims that you did simply because you were commander-in-chief? Like, for me, I'm like, there was probably some underlying situations that helped. I mean, luckily for them, the president of the United States was even scheduled to be in that region of the world at that particular time.
Right.
Like, whether or not he brought it up on his own or his advisors told him, well, these are American citizens, you have to try to do something. Or if the president of China even brought it up, like, look, we got these 3 kids here that were shoplifting, maybe some kind of political favor down the line gets these guys released. You look like a hero. Like, who knows how it went down? But the bottom line is he helped, and the 3 of them, which we will talk about later, did thank him for his part in getting them released. But I just don't understand why he felt it necessary to, his Twitter fingers going and say the things that he said.
Have you ever seen anything, the phenomena that is the current POTUS? Have you ever seen anything in all of your travels in any walk of life that matches this?
Nah,
like,
this dude loves to be praised. He loves to get credit. He loves. I haven't, man. I haven't. And like Jimmy says every week, man, like, what a time to be alive. Because this is the type of thing that I don't think I would have ever seen in my life. So, all right. So, we talked about the whole Papa John's thing. Where there was a lot of headline clickbait going on with that whole thing, but the gist of it was that Papa John's publicly told the world how much revenue he lost in the last quarter, in their handling of the protests that were going on. I always thought that the language, and I don't even know if I expressed it, but I always thought the language was a little ambiguous, and I wasn't 100% sure if he was saying anything negative about the actual protesters or just bashing the league on, just how they handled it. And I think everybody just automatically took that in a negative way, because if you're talking about how the league is handling something, hey, I could bash the league about how they handled it, because I could say, hey, all you guys had to do was have their backs, see what their cause was about and join in, or, that could be a way of handling it. So I don't necessarily know what the CEO of Papa John's was trying to say. A lot of other people had leanings of what they thought he was trying to say, and a lot of clickbait headlines just went off and said Papa John blames revenue loss on black players protesting.
Right.
As a little ambitious, it could have been what was really in his mind. But right now, 2 weeks later, the CEO of Papa John's is backtracking on what people at least perceived his thoughts to be. He reiterated his business challenges at the moment, and he made sure to tell the world that he supports the players who are protesting, and he threw in for good measure that he hates Nazis. So what are your thoughts on, what the CEO of Papa John is saying?
Nazis.
John Shatner.
I hate Nazis.
Nazis.
Why do you have to tell us that? Would we think that you didn't hate Nazism, or what?
Well, if you go by the headlines people put up, people probably thought he was a Nazi. So it could be necessary to throw that in there. It could be necessary, but whether he means it or not is what the court.
There's a couple ways of looking at this. Society did what society does in 2017 with, the clickbait, false news, no need to fact check, alternative truth. I mean, the society did what they did. There was a way to handle this by Papa John that would have endeared him to the players, endeared him to a segment of the fan base, and that is merely stand up against tyranny and what is wrong. Now, that may have cost him, more sales, but he could have, from the gate, came out and say, I don't like the way the NFL is handling this, but I support the players and their protests because racial injustice and institutional bias in law enforcement legislation and even up the judicial branch has been a problem in this country.
That's a good point. And, you have to, you have to clarify your stance. You can't just make a blanket statement, because the court of public opinion is not looking for too many details. They just gonna bang that gavel and say.
And should we assume in 2017 that a multi-$100 million enterprise, the marketing people, the public relations people, the crisis management, the image people aren't aware of that and wouldn't give him the proper advice, right? So I'm not saying that it's right that he has to clarify and make all of those statements, but the reality is these are the times we live in. What a time to be alive. And I'm submitting that he should be aware of that when you're making public statements that are going to be viewed as incendiary. So I kind of hold him somewhat responsible for where his situation is. Like, you could have clarified from the door.
In the larger scheme of things, I think he was set up by who was supposed to be Jerry Jones. Yeah. I think Jerry Jones probably pushed him to speak out about his revenue decline and what the reasons were, probably at the time not knowing that Jerry Jones was about to become public enemy number one with all the owners, the team owners in the NFL. So I think Jerry Jones may have, pushed him to speak out because he knew what he was about to get into. Like, he was about to hire a lawyer and test the waters on a lawsuit against the NFL. I really think that he has a lot to do with this whole situation. And now John Shatner is backtracking on the situation and telling everybody, what he's saying now. Company spokesperson basically said, we posted this today talking about their apology, their backtrack. So we posted this today because it became obvious over the last week people didn't understand our position. We should have followed our gut from the beginning, but followed advice not to speak up. It's time we are clear. That advice not to speak up could have came from dude too. Like, once the backlash started, he might have said, just sit quiet, it'll be fine. So, and I don't put this stuff, I'm not even saying this in a joking way, because when you look at Jerry Jones, it's obvious that Jerry Jones doesn't care about anybody but Jerry Jones, because as we talked about last week, he was one of Roger Goodell's biggest proponents. And as soon as, Roger Goodell had to put his foot down and do something against Jerry that he didn't like, then all of a sudden, he's against Roger Goodell and doesn't want him to get his extension. So that's the crazy thing about this whole thing. So we'll see how everything plays out. What we always do, we just sit back and chill. Let's give some birthday shout-outs real quick. I know there's some people waiting. I don't know if y'all heard the open, but the Digital Extreme Tech hotline wasn't going to be open for another 30 minutes at the start of the show. So if you're there, if you're on the line, you can hold tight because we're almost at that mark. But we're going to give some quick birthday shout-outs, and birthdays are brought to you by Digital Extreme Technologies. Do you or your business need a custom website? Well, for dynamic, professional, and most of all, affordable custom website solutions, you need Digital Extreme Technologies. No need to break the bank for an effective online presence. Top quality, results-driven websites at incredibly affordable prices. And yes, financing options are available. So just visit digitalextremetech.com or call 267-205-4203. And for discounted rates, just be sure to tell them that the guys over at War Room Sports sent ya.
It's my birthday! Yay!
All right, birthday shout-outs for this week. The homie Stat, standing tall and talented, Amari Stoudemire, who was once a New York Knick. And when he came, they were screaming the same thing. The Knicks are back. All these years later, we're still wondering what they're back from and what they're back to. But he turns 35. So shout out to Stat on his 35th birthday. O.C. Umenyiora turns 36. Super Bowl champion with the New York Giants. Dwight Gooden, he turns 53 today. Shout out to Doc
Smoke
Gooden.
crack, don't you?
Oh, man.
Smoke
why you going to do my man Gooden like that? Zena Garrison, tennis fame. Before there was a Serena, before there was a Venus. She turns 54, so shout out to her. Happy birthday. And Frank Bruno, heavyweight. He was a part of the heavyweight class back in the early to mid 90s, when you had Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, George Foreman had thrown his hat back in the ring, literally. Michael Moore, those guys. He was one of Mike Tyson's victims at one point. So shout out to Frank Bruno on his 56th birthday. But we like to wish all of these people a nice War Room salute on their birthdays or their birthday weeks. Salute to you. Happy birthday. All right, before we get into some hot topics, you guys can check out our website, warroomsports.com. While you're there, be sure to take your time, look around, click on the Contact Us tab, the message about the company, the show, or to inquire about sponsorship and advertising opportunities, or join in the network. For general inquiries, email us, info@warroomsports.com while you're browsing the site. Make sure you click on the memorabilia tab to buy War Room Sports merchandise. Click the blog tab to read our latest articles in the All Fair Sports and War blog. Then click the respective icons and tabs to follow us on social media, to subscribe to our iTunes podcast, to watch our webcast at War Room Sports TV, to listen to the WRS Podcast Network, and to download our free War Room Sports mobile app on Android or iOS to get everything I just mentioned on the go. Now, you can join the JW Philly Realty chat room right now during the show at blogtalkradio.com/The War Room. To enter the chat room, just sign up for a free profile on Blog Talk Radio. If you don't want to create an account, you can sign up through your Facebook or Twitter accounts. But while you're at it, make sure you click follow to get updates and reminders about the show. We'll be taking questions and reading posts from Facebook, Twitter, and the chat room during the show. Also from the War Room Sports Game Time group on the GroupMe app. But if you want to call in and speak with us, the Digital Extreme Tech hotline will be open in just a few minutes. That number is 323-410-0012. Just press 1 when prompted. But if you're already listening from your phone, you know what to do. Just press 1 if you want to talk. Now, the hot topics, of course, are brought to you by Sports the Book. Tired of reading the same old sports books with the same old sports lists, rankings, imaginary starting lineups, and all sorts of subjective information and made up reach stats passed off as fact? Well, be sure to pick up your copy of Sports. Smart people only read the sports. It's a mixture of sports and hip-hop culture. Keep you on the edge of your seat and laughing like you were watching a comedy special. So just go to sportsthebook.com or get your copy from our website at warroomsports.com. But wherever you do, just don't miss the movement. And so real quick, just want to get your thoughts, B, before we on one subject, and then we'll talk college football with Fred Perdue, and then we will open up the Digital Extreme Tech hotline for everybody. The UCLA 3 is what I'm calling them, including LiAngelo Ball. They're back in the States. They've been suspended indefinitely by UCLA. Of course, the indefinitely part, we never really know what that means. That could be one game, 2 games. That could be the whole season. That could be half the season. We don't know. Sounds like UCLA doesn't know either. Sounds like they're going to make a decision and play this as they go. But I heard a lot of opinions over the past week on what kind of suspensions they should have gotten. I've heard people say, just give them 3 games. It's a teachable, it's a teaching moment. They're young. They're kids. Everybody deserves a second chance. I heard people say they should be suspended for the entire year. I heard people say they should be expelled from the university. Where did you fall in all of this? And I guess, opinions still matter here because they haven't really defined what the suspension is going to be, just indefinitely at the moment.
I would not be opposed to anything over half a season, up to and including a full season. Expulsion is not an option. I just don't see. I don't see that as an expellable offense. But I'm trying to think of this in terms of regular human beings and not entitled and privileged athletes. If you or I were caught stealing and that was, registered and sent to the university, would we have been expelled? And I just don't think that would have happened. And so I'm against expulsion. But
I definitely don't think that would have happened, B. I think, and I'm not a proponent for expulsion, but just looking at the other perspective, if there was a case to be made, it would be made because they were actually over there with the university, representing the university, and did the things that they did. So to even bring that up into a conversation, those would have to be the underlying facts that would be stated for anybody trying to make a case for expulsion. But I'm with you. I don't think that's an option.
I definitely think that, this reflects poorly on, these young men and their decision making. I toe the line on indicting their character because I feel as though 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I would say between the ages of 14 and 24. Don't ask me how I got those ages, but between the ages of 14 and 24, you're just allowed to do dumb shit. You're just allowed to do dumb shit. Like you can have, like, I would be a complete hypocrite. And listen, let me just say this, going back as far as I do with the brothers on this show, particularly you, don't snitch. Don't snitch.
How did you
don't snitch.
Stuff recently.
But I mean, I would be a complete and utter hypocrite to act as if we weren't making mistakes, or not even mistakes, consciously being, So I don't. I feel.
I mean, we weren't
shoplifting.
That wasn't our twist. We didn't have to shoplift. Yeah. Neither does LiAngelo.
Nah.
Did it anyway.
I had plenty of money, but yeah, and that's the problem is when you bring that up. Also, then it gets down to the entitlement and the entitlement and the privilege. Like, how dare you go to another country representing yourself, your family, a university, and you decide that it's a good idea to shoplift a $500 or $600 belt when you have a Ferrari at home and your brother has an Aventador, a Lamborghini. So you have the money, and if you would have called up big Uncle Thomas Kuhn LeVar, he probably would have bought you the belt. So it wasn't.
But that's the thing. Do you think it doesn't necessarily mean they have the money because of the cars. Remember what Snoop used to tell us after he got enough heart to speak out about Suge Knight? He was like, yeah, when we were on death row, like you saw us, we had cars, we had jewelry, we had all of that stuff, but we never had any money in our pockets. Because that's how Suge kept it. Suge owned the houses. Yeah. He owned the cars. He owned the jewelry. So as soon as you weren't down with the team no more, he could take all of that stuff from you. So I can see LiAngelo
you can see LeVar doing that.
Where he drive around with a Ferrari, not have money in his pocket to feed that lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? And that lifestyle being purchasing higher end from places like Louis Vuitton and the other places that they stole from. Because you follow the story for the rest of it ended up coming out that they stole from at least 3 stores.
Dang! They was over there kleptomaniacing.
Right. They went over there. It was at least 3 stores. And if you get a chance to look at that press conference making their statements, that's the first thing. That's LiAngelo led with that. I'm sorry for stealing from the stores in China.
Wow.
So yeah, it was much worse than we had originally reported when we talked about it last week. But I'm with you. I don't think a year suspension or you said a year maybe. I don't think an expulsion is called for.
I'm okay. I'm okay with them losing. Yeah, I'm okay with them losing a season. I'm okay with that. I don't think expulsion is fair.
Hypocrites though to expel them, because even though we know most of these athletes, especially athletes that go to these bigger programs, and they're more popular and they have a chance of going to the next level, we know they're not really in there to go to school and to go to class anyway, but it's still a bad look to take someone's scholarship away from them, thereby stopping them from their education if that's what they so chose to do. But even if you don't know what's in their heart and what they choose to do, it would still look bad on an educational institution. And I got the air quotes up saying educational institution take away a scholarship for a mistake that someone made. If it was just a regular person that got caught shoplifting, so they wouldn't get kicked out of the school. But these guys were representing the school. They were agents of the university as they were over in their sticky fingers on. Because, unless you got then maybe an imagination. But it gets worse.
How many you getting towed, brother? You getting towed. I'm curious as to how many stores these guys actually hit, and what was their thought process behind putting together their Oceans 3 to run this thievery ring. Like, I'm trying to understand what it really was about.
Yeah, it was 3 stores. It was 3 stores.
Okay.
All right, so real quick, so we can get to these phone lines, because I see the phone lines are blowing up, and we don't even have a producer to screen tonight. Let's get Fred Perdue on the line to talk a little bit of college football for a few minutes. So calling in from the great state of Florida is War Room Sports college football contributor Fred Perdue. Fred, what's going on, good brother?
What's going on? What's going on, guys? How y'all doing?
Pretty good.
Man,
pretty good.
Blessed and highly favored.
Everybody out there, I apologize for the audio difficulties that we are starting to have every week now, and it's getting on my nerves. Hopefully I sound a little bit better right now.
You do.
Fred, big week in college football. It was a big week, not even just as an analyst, but it was a big week for you as a fan as well. And we are going to talk about those Miami Hurricanes, who are now number 3 in the college football rankings, number 3 in the college football playoff rankings, more importantly. So let's get right into it, and let's talk about your...
Go.
Now, they beat...
Go. It's your birthday.
They beat
Uncle Luke.
Sugar Honey Iced Tea down the legs of the guys that you call the little green people, and have now climbed the rankings and moved into that number 3 spot. Eyes on the big prize now? Think they can stay there? What's to talk to us about the U?
So throughout this whole process, I feel like I kind of understand how you felt, and I know this isn't an NFL kind of thing, but, we do this whole thing called Cover 2, shameless plug, okay? So you felt a certain way about your Philadelphia Eagles going into the season, and I kind of felt the same way as things kept building. I'm always kind of half in, half out, because I know something silly is going to happen. They're going to my team's going to do something that's just it's expected. It's a character flaw.
Proceed with caution, sit down, be humble.
Exactly.
Some things I try to impart to some of my younger, fans that, but they don't listen. Exactly. And every year I'm optimistic, and then it comes, Florida State week comes, and I get a little down because it's been 7 years, and, well, that changed. And then, Miami kind of found its way to 4-0, 5-0, 6-0, and I'm like, okay, I'm not trying to get happy. I'm trying not to get overly excited because something's going to happen. And 7-0 happens, and 8-0 happens, and it keeps happening. But I'm still slightly optimistic, even after a Virginia Tech win, Notre Dame win, where the defense looked like a top 5. Dare I even say it? Maybe a number 1 defense. Where Notre Dame, who has been running the ball on any and everyone, they have one of the best offensive lines in the country with the number 1 offensive tackle in the country. And when I see a freshman beating this number 1 offensive tackle in the country, who's going to probably be a top 5, top 10 pick, and I'm seeing him consistently getting beat every single time. It's a race to the quarterback every single time, and this defense is playing well, and I'm getting excited, and I'm saying, okay, pump the brakes. Hold up. We've seen this story before. And the more I see it, I'm a believer, but I'm also taking the Bill Belichick approach because it's on to Virginia. It's not on to Clemson because both teams, they've already locked up their division. It's not, let's forget, there's national championship aspirations, but the process starts, and we can, I know I'm hitting cliches here, the process starts. Yeah, gotta trust the process. I'm all about that cliche. Trust the process.
Exactly.
You saw the process last night.
Young legend. But to see this team grow up under Mark Richt with a lot of the same players that Al Golden recruited at Miami just a few years ago, and seeing how they bought in.
Stop hating on my man Al Golden, though.
I mean, I'm done throwing shade at the tight end coach in the NFL. You know, whatever.
Playing my man.
That's why y'all gonna lose, because you keep hating on Al.
I'm not throwing any shade, but when I see how this team keeps building, you see how they have.
You call my man a positional coach.
Well, it is what it is, and never mind. I'm gonna leave him alone. But when you see how this team keeps growing from, you see close wins against teams like a Georgia Tech, Syracuse, who, by the way, shame on you, playoff committee, college football playoff committee, who put Clemson, who lost to Syracuse, ahead of a Miami team that beat Syracuse. I don't trust you anymore. But the defense keeps getting better and better, and we have a thing called a turnover chain. It's sweeping the country. Everyone wants one, but only at the U can you do something like have a turnover chain. It's fitting, is it not? It takes you back to the 80s. It takes you back to the 90s.
Fred,
Catholics versus convicts,
can you articulate what manner of ignorance in Miami a turnover chain is? Can you articulate where in Liberty City this came from? Yeah, can you give us
this idea came from the defensive coordinator Manny Diaz, who has been he was looking for a way to just get some extra motivation. They already they were a hungry defense, but every defensive player wants to get a turnover. And that's just, you have a bunch of kids from the inner city, and they want to rock the chain. So they said, let's come up with a Cuban link.
Deb, this sounds like buying Jordans. I bought my squad Jordans because they stayed out of trouble all summer. Yo, man.
It turned into something small, but you knew it was gonna blow up. And when I saw it the first time, I was like, this is a stupid gimmick from like the 80s. They're just trying to relive the glory days. And then it just caught fire. And it's a real change. That's the thing. It's not some fake piece. It's a real deal change. And it's big, it's heavy. And from people, just regular people trying to make replicas of their own, they're selling these things, gold-plated replicas for roughly $200, and it's big now. It's a thing now, and it's a thing that's reinvigorated this defense to the point where when I see freshmen getting on the field and they're getting to the quarterback, they're beating people to the ball, and they're stopping the run, which in college football is huge. You can stop the run. To now the offense is now believing in the defense. The defense believing in the offense. The defense says, get us 21 points and we'll win you the game. That's all. That's how good we are. And seeing how they dismantled Virginia Tech and Notre Dame and being a complete 180 as a team, losing Mark Walton on offense and still finding a running game, the play calling at the end of games where you're throwing the ball to end games, now trusting your running back, having guys change positions from wide receiver and DJ Dallas, who was a specialty player, to learning it on the fly, learning protections, and he's now being able to play full-time running back. The U is right. I'm not wanting to say they're back because, Dev, you know how I feel. You know how that thing goes.
Well, at least they have something to be back from. You know, people talk about the New York Knicks are back. I'm like, yo, they ain't won a chip since like 72.
Exactly. The Canes haven't won anything. They haven't even won an ACC title game yet. Now, there's a technicality there because
at least the Canes have won something this century, so they don't count in the same boat. But let me ask you one thing. Let me ask you one thing before we get you out of here. And I know it's difficult to put your analyst hat on about a team you have a rooting interest in, and with Thanksgiving on the horizon, I'll use, a term. I don't know if everybody uses this, but in the black family, y'all know what it is. Right now, Miami has a seat at the big table.
Thanksgiving. Y'all know what the big table is. They got a seat at the big table, but this big table only holds 4. They got a seat, Fred. As an analyst, not as a fan, are they going to keep this seat?
Yo, the little table was weak, yo. Man, that was weak.
I'm 40. I still ain't make it to the big table. Too many old heads still alive. People got to die for you to make it to the big table, though. But Miami, using that metaphor, they are at the table right now. Are they going to stay there? Or what do you think?
There are 3 tests left. And for me, I like to take a piece out of that. You have a Virginia team who this is every team's Super Bowl at this point because no team that is left is undefeated. You have a Virginia team that's they're at the bottom of the ACC Coastal. They get a 12 o'clock start. The Canes are right now. The fans have been getting up for big games at night. So now you have a 12 o'clock start. Miami fans are notorious for being fair weather fans. Yes, I'm talking to you, Miami Hurricane faithful. Show up to games.
Or unfaithful.
Yeah, exactly. They're very fair weather. They'll show up for big night games, but we all know the city of Miami is
I was about to say, that's the culture down there.
It's a pro town.
Period.
It's a different thing. It's kind of like L.A. Like the pro teams get all the love, but even USC didn't get a full stadium all the time.
The Heat don't get no love. Somebody that B. Austin and I know said he was at the game last night, the Heat game versus the Wizards. $35, 8 rows behind the basket. $35.
Because they're fielding a bunch of backups on a team with a center that's overrated, but that's coming from a Heat fan. So
yeah,
I mean,
but you know how the Heat crowds were, even when they had the big 3 and they were down there balling. People was leaving the arena early. People were coming to the arena late. You know how it is down there.
Yeah, it's
all right, but Fred,
in South Florida.
We gotta go. Answer the question. Are they gonna keep their seat at the table or not?
I think they will. I think this team it understands. It has a little bit of urgency now. They know how to handle that adversity. So for now, it's on to Virginia. I'm taking a page out of Bill Belichick's book, but I do think that things are going to happen the way they are supposed to.
He politically correcting it right there. All right, that's what's up, though. So, good luck to the Canes, no doubt. So, everybody, if you want to check Fred out, you can check him out throughout the week. For college football, you can check him out on the Quick Slants podcast on the War Room Sports Podcast Network. For NFL football, you can check him out on Cover 2 with McMillan and Purdue, also on the War Room Sports Podcast Network. Just go to the hub, warroomsports.com, click on the Podcast Network tab, and find your shows on the right-hand menu. Fred, let everybody know where you're going to be live tweeting this Saturday for college football.
I'll be on Twitter at Fred Purdue CFB, 12 o'clock. Very early start for those Canes, so I'll be talking about those guys early and often, and the rest of the top 4 teams that are going to get cupcake schedules for the rest of the way until rivalry week. Say that 10 times really fast. And exactly. So I'll be until we see those big matchups at the end for some other teams like Alabama, Auburn, and things like that. So, but that's a little bit of ways away.
All right. So we will talk to you next week. We'll see how we'll see if they can stay at the table, man.
I think it's gonna happen. Team of Destiny. I'm trying not to get hyped, man. Don't make me hype.
All right, I'll let you next week, Fred.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Right. Fred Purdue, everybody, college football analyst and Miami Hurricanes fan. That wasn't obvious to you. B, let's go to the phone lines.
Turnover.
And turnover chain. Yeah, I've seen it. It's
what
exactly
what in the name of slavery coming back is that?
And shout out to Skyview in the chat room. He was asking questions when we were talking about the UCLA 3. He was saying, they fall into the same scenario as Lochte and the Olympians. And that's exactly true. Like, you know, you're not just representing yourself, your family, your university. When you're doing stuff abroad, you're kind of doing it in the name of the country as well, whether you like it or not.
Right.
And he also had a question. He said, even though he tweeted some unclassy tweets, if Trump hadn't intervened, what kind of expulsion would the Chinese have dealt out? Not UCLA, but the Chinese. I don't know. Like, it definitely was a serious crime. More serious there probably than it would be here. But just like we talked about last week, like, you know, this isn't China in like the 1980s, so it may not have been as severe as we may have thought. But of course, you know, Donald Trump had to throw it in there. Like, those guys were facing 10 years in jail, so he had to make it sound. He had to definitely hype it so his part could be looked at in a more positive way. But they thanked him. You know, they were classy about this. They thanked him, and then he tweeted that they're welcome. So, you know, he made the whole thing a spectacle. But it's all good. Shout out to him. So let's go to the phone lines. I know we had the brother Tobias on. I don't see his number on there no more. My bad, Tobias. If you want to get on, just try to call back in. But we got Rob calling from Cali, our loyal supporter, but heck of an internet troll. What's going on, Rob?
Yo, what's up, man? Yo, what's up, y'all? Yo, the greatest. Yo, a.k.a. Cool Beans, a.k.a. Yo, man. Yo, tell Claire Huxtable, man, I was out with a ratchet having big fun, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, man, yo.
a.k.a. Pay your troll toll. Talking Facebook gangster.
Facebook, you call over all these analogies.
This dude called me. He called me a traitor to the Eagles, B. Austin, because I wasn't defending his nonsense in a conversation with a Cowboy fan, where I actually told the Cowboy fan after, you know, I told Rob what I didn't like about his stuff. I told the Cowboy fan, like, to be fair, you now know how it feels when, you know, when you guys talk all the time. When you're delusional, you know, when you're overzealous, when you're jumping the gun, when you guys are cocky and arrogant and haven't actually done anything yet, you know how it feels. So, you know, for them to get upset.
How am I delusional,
man? Every post you post about the Philadelphia Eagles is so arrogant and cocky, like you haven't seen this story before. Dude, and he's calling me a traitor. I was born into this, dude. I didn't even have a choice to pick a team. I was born into this. I have 40 years experience in this. Listen, man, I have 40 years of experience in this. And in that 40 years, I have to endure all the Eagles don't have a Super Bowl jokes. I got to endure all of that stuff. Like I told you, you're a fan from 3,000 miles. Listen, Rob, listen. When the Eagles lose, I'm pretty sure you're not invested in it the same way. You could just turn your attention to one of the other 1,000 teams that you root for in different sports from different cities. I guarantee you it's not the same. So you put a target not just on the. Would you listen? You not only put a target on the Eagles when you talk the way that you do online, you put a target on the city of Philadelphia. You don't realize how many times people came to our page and crapped on our city, not our sports team, because of the way you were talking. Oh, typical Philadelphia stuff. This is how Philly people talk. And Rob ain't nowhere near from Philly. And you don't even come back to defend it, Rob. You don't even come back to defend it.
I'll come back.
You put a target on us, we get crapped on, and you don't even come back to defend it because you don't have to because you're not from Philly. You don't understand any of that.
I came back against Hank that one time, and then Hank got well, that was basketball. Hold on, that was basketball. But I see. I'm sorry, it may be the West Coast thing, but you know what I'm saying, yo. If you want to be up in the video on the share,
exactly, all up in the videos, getting your puffy on.
Well, y'all don't love us.
Oh man,
the heck with y'all? Okay, maybe it's because, and here's the reason why I was an Eagles fan. Maybe because my pops was a New Yorker who seen all of his teams winning championships other than basketball. Seen all of his teams winning championships year after year after year. What do you know he tells me? He says, pick another team.
I'm not questioning why you're an Eagles fan. Like, it's hey, we take as much support as we can get. But like I said, you're the kind of stuff you put on the internet makes us a target. And it's like, unless we're the Patriots right now, I mean, because I know you still got Cowboy fans trying to live off success from 30 years ago and 40 years ago. You got Washington fans trying to live off success from 30 years ago, 25 years ago, whatever. Yeah, but the fact is, we haven't done it. The last time we won championships, the game wasn't even called the Super Bowl. And I wasn't born. Those are like my grandfather's championships. I can't claim those. So it's like, we need to learn a lesson. We can't go talking like that. You know how this story ends.
We can. This is a tie. This is a tie. I have confidence. Carson Wentz is Moses. He's Moses. He's gonna lead us to the promised land. He's a jet.
Wow. Don't you remember the times when we had? Don't you remember the times when we had Super 5? Don't you remember the time between 2001 and 2005? The Eagles were favored to win Super Bowls at least 2 or 3 out of those years, and they did not do it. They did not do it. So if I look at what you're doing as a jinx, you got to understand me, brother. I was born into this. I've struggled through this. The minute we get cocky about this team will lay an egg. They'll have a big injury, or they will just go out and flat out choke.
I'll be honest with you, Rob. I didn't even pick us. I didn't even pick us to be any more than third. So I'm not going to be out here bragging about a surprise because I didn't see any of this coming at all, not even a little bit. And so I'm happy, but I've seen this story play out before. In 2004, we lost to an inferior team because we had the wrong guy at quarterback and not, that's a whole nother thing.
Don't get me started. How about that? Don't get him started.
Okay.
Either way, as a franchise, we choke.
We have a great white hope. We have the
now we got a white quarterback. Yes.
Man, there's been 5 minority quarterbacks. Y'all didn't like any of them. Sam Bradford, Michael Vick, Vince Young, McNabb, and Mark Sanchez.
Who didn't like them? Like, what are you talking about? Here you go again, like grouping everybody the same. Like, me and B. Austin are 2 different people. If you heard him express that he didn't like somebody, you can't just assume that I didn't like him as well. Who said we didn't like Sam Bradford?
Well,
who said we didn't like Michael Vick? Michael Vick ain't that good, but who said we didn't like him?
I did.
Yo, I actually on the low, Rob, I knew that Mike Vick was a bum, but there's something about the way he plays. I like Mike Vick as a player, even though he's a bum. I like him.
I think if Mike Vick was, and I'm gonna talk about the Eagles now. I'm gonna end with basketball. But I think if he was, in the beginning, if he was on the team with the Eagles, I think he will flourish and would have been something that was I think it would have been Ben McNabb. But anyways, man, the defense.
If I would have bought that Bitcoin at $100, yeah.
Right, be a millionaire. But go ahead. You said you want to talk about basketball?
No. Let's talk about the Eagles real quick. But I agree with everything y'all said about the ball, bros. I remember this Chinese dude hold a sign up. I don't know, it was a meme talking about we make your clothes and you steal from us. I'm like, whatever, man. Y'all only have good quality anyway. But anyways, man, I said it. When it comes to it, I didn't believe, and to be honest, I thought we were going to face 3rd or 4th, but they have a chance, and I believe this chance is now. And Dev, I want to make a bet with you right now, and it's just a one-sided bet, but if they do win the Super Bowl, if they do this year, I want you to be like, and I'm going to do this if they make it to Super Bowl. I want you to go video yourself doing a Shannon Sharp presentation with the mild and the yak.
The mild and the
First
yak.
of all, it's silly for you to think I'm going to bet against my own team. Like, I hope that you're right. But just for you, if they – and it ain't no making it to, because I ain't nobody celebrating second place, dude. Making it to the – and I don't even say that word. Making it to the S Bowl and losing, that's worse than not getting there at all. That's painful. That's painful. So I tell you this: if they do it, if they win, Rob, if they win that game, if they make it to that game and win, I will video myself with the mild and the yak, cooling it up like shit sharp with the mild and the yak. I'll do that just for you. All right. So it's a deal.
And yo, I will now. From now on, I apologize. I'm gonna say public. I apologize what I say about Joel Embiid. Your boy, and I hate to say this, but Jimmy was right. I will say his name. He is young legend. If he can stay healthy, if he can play consistently.
So it took him beasting your Lakers team for you to understand that. Like, he been that good.
It took him scoring 45 points and 15 rebounds, 7 assists, and I was like,
but he's been that good. The only difference now is that the reason he did that is because he played minutes. What you don't realize is he averaged 20 and 9 last season while only playing 20 minutes a game. He had the highest per 36 and per 48 in the league. So all you got to do is give this dude extra minutes. And, 46 is not going to be the regular, but I guarantee you 25 to 27 with 15 rebounds and 4. That's going to be the regular, man. Get used to it.
If he stays healthy, you could see him average 30, 15, and 5. Well, 30, 15, and 4. 30, 15, and 4.
He can get 5 assists. You see how he's been throwing that thing out the double team lately? With his running mate, Ben Simmons, who his school Joe last night. Rob, before you go, I got to ask you a question about your superstar. I'm gonna ask you later, B. We're gonna talk about it. But Rob, like, not even joking right now. Would you send, if you were Lakers brass, would you send Lonzo down to the G League just to get some things together? Or do you think he's too big of a name to send down there? You think that'll tear his confidence all the way up?
You can't send him. Exactly. Second thing you say, you can't send him. I think the problem is with the coach, and y'all can help me out with this. I think you, Dev, you can help me out, and Bios can help me out with this, because I think that the minute they say that they're not going to work on his shooting, his mechanics, I was so disgusted. Like, why aren't you guys going to work on his mechanics with going to a big boy league? That's like
It's one of those situations, Rob, where they figuring this got him here. It's hard to change a man's mechanics when he's just so used to that. You got to be willing to do that
over the summer, and for an extended period of time. I don't think they had the time to work with him yet on changing those mechanics.
That's also that has to be voluntary. You can't force a man to change his mechanics.
Yeah,
you can't. You can't force him.
I'm gonna be objective and keep it 100. I think that Lonzo Ball has the potential to be a very good player and fringe. All right, well,
we gonna talk about it. This is for the caller right here. Lonzo's on our docket. We're gonna talk about it.
Yeah. Thank you, Law. And all I gotta say is, the Eagles should beat the Cowboys. By double digits. They just do or die. They're just so dismantled. It's not good. They should win the next 2 games. They're going to be 2-10 games. Now, against the Seahawks.
See, and this is the week that you should be talking about the Cowboys, because they actually play the Cowboys. Rob be talking about the Cowboys like 5 weeks before we play them, when we like 5 games ahead of them. Like, stop thinking about them dudes.
2 or 3 weeks. 3 weeks. But
that's why. But that's what I was trying to tell you then, though. That's why Cowboys fans feel so entitled, because they could be straight trash. Your team cannot be playing them for another 3 weeks, but you're still talking about the Cowboys. Like, yo, who cares about the Cowboys? They stink. Like, who cares? All right, Rob, we got to go, though, man. We holler at you next week, man. All right?
All right, Rob.
Jeff's got a vendetta against me. Peace, y'all.
Peace. I got a vendetta against silliness, man. It ain't personal. It's silliness. I don't do silliness. But people don't understand that. We've talked about that on here for like 7 years, B. Like, everybody want to sit there. The Cowboys ain't America's team. The Cowboys this and that. The Cowboys are most certainly what they're cracked up to be. They most certainly are America's team because only a team with a title like America's team can get people talking about them when they're not even relevant.
Well, they've been boo-boo for 20 years.
Yet,
like
fans want to talk about the Cowboys 9 weeks before we play them. When you do play the Cowboys, whether they stink or not, it's a big deal. There's a such thing in Philly and Washington as Cowboy Week. I've been to all of these places, and I've been to all of these places on game day, game week. I've never heard them use the term in Texas, it's Eagle Week or it's Racial Slur Week. But they damn sure be here and in Philly talking, it's Cowboy Week. Like, yo, get off. And you wonder why the fans feel entitled. I walk around feeling like a big wig, too. All you got to do is talk about my team, and my team ain't even good right now. All right, so let's move on from that. They got us in here talking about the Cowboys. All right, so real quick, because Gus can't join us. Gus Griffin is on travel again, and this time his schedule did not allow for him to call in, but I do have his investment picks for the week. It's only 3 of them, and Gus is sitting at 19, 22, and 1 right now. So it seems like over the last 3 or 4 weeks, he's just been breaking even because he's been right at that spot, and he's saying he can't seem to get over that hump. I think he will before the end of the season, but we'll see. So he's going to go with 3 games. He's taking the Titans +7 at his Pittsburgh Steelers. He's going with the over for the Rams and Vikings. So that's Rams and Vikings over 46 points. I definitely agree with that because the Rams have been a scoring machine as of late. He's going with the over for the Washington racial slurs and the Saints, and that over-under is 51, so he's going over 51 for Washington and the Saints. So those are your 3 Gus Griffin investment picks of the week. We will talk to him next week. He does have, deniable plausibility right now, because if he gets them wrong, he could say, well, you guys never heard my voice on here talking. Dev might have made that up. So shout out to Gus for that. So maybe I should have gave him that excuse in private and not on the air. Now everybody heard it. So your man Zeke, speaking of the Cowboys, Ezekiel Elliott has withdrawn his appeal, and he's just going to go ahead and serve his suspension. He'll be back Christmas Eve versus the Seattle Seahawks. Not sure if the Dallas Cowboys will still be in the playoff mix by then, but what are your thoughts on this fiasco finally being over and Zeke just taking the suspension? Do you think they're just tired of the fight, or do you think this is any sign of admission? I don't really. I'm just asking you that. I think it's just tired of the fight.
I definitely don't think that it's a sign of admission. I think that he admitted he was guilty on St. Patrick's Day when he showed the world what he does to young women that he finds, attractive and impressive. But no, this isn't an admission of guilt. At this point, the entire world is telling the Cowboys team, that includes Zeke, Dak, and Gerald, that look, man, FOH, it doesn't matter the money you're prepared to invest in the defense. It's done. It's a done deal. You guys voted in the collective bargaining agreement to allow Goodell to be judge, jury, and executioner, and this is what it is. So, Gerald, if you don't act right, we're going to threaten to snatch your team, which wouldn't happen. But, yo, it's done, man.
Yeah.
It's done.
And just like I told people last week, like, like, I still think they could be successful without Ezekiel Elliott. Like, he's by far, head and shoulders, the best running back they have. He has a special talent of getting extra yards after contact. I mean, even if it's just leaning forward to get, another positive 2 or 3 yards, like that's not as easy as it sounds. You know what I'm saying? Like, he always falls forward. It's an art.
Uncanny.
But the most important name in this whole situation is Tyron Smith. And I said this last week because, and I reiterate, when the offensive line was struggling earlier in the season, Ezekiel Elliott was struggling as well. Then they came into their own, and he started running like the Zeke that we know him to be. So for him to miss a game, it's still up to the offensive line of whether or not the Cowboys could be successful in the run game and in the overall game period, because that's where it starts. That's where it starts and ends. Last week they had an issue because not only were they missing Zeke, they were missing All-Pro left tackle Tyron Smith, and it showed in a big way when they allowed what's, in my opinion, a marginal defensive end in Claiborne from the Falcons to have a career day, which would have been a career day for anybody. This would have been a career day for Lawrence Taylor. He had 6 sacks. He came into the game with 2, and then the Cowboys, not giving their backup left tackle any help throughout the game, probably put Claiborne into the Pro Bowl for this particular season. Shout out to the late, great Derek Thomas, who had 7 sacks in a game once.
Man,
but this guy's name doesn't belong up there with Derek Thomas and Lawrence Taylor and Reggie White.
It certainly does not.
He's not
never
good.
Never mind the Pro Bowl nod. With that game, he made an extra $750,000 in contract kickers because of the
Yes, he did. And what does that tell you, though, B? If you have a clause in your contract that will get you almost $1 million for having 8 sacks in a season, that tells me that you're
not
garbage.
believe.
That tells me that you're not that good of a defensive end. 8 sacks? If you put a $750 clause into the contract of, say, a J.J. Watt, a healthy J.J. Watt, like, you're just giving away money at that point. He's going to get 8 sacks in the first 4 games of the season. So, but you got this guy who has that in his contract. Man, if you can give us 8 sacks with your bum ass, we will give you almost another $1 million. And shout out to him for getting it. And shout out to the Cowboys. He should take that backup left tackle out and buy him a watch. You know how the quarterbacks buy stuff for their linemen. He needs to go buy that man a Rollie for Christmas for allowing him to get that $750 extra M's in his pocket before Christmas. So
definitely.
So as important as Zeke is, man, Tyron Smith is the bigger loss here, and it has been reported, it's official, he will be out for the Sunday night game against our Philadelphia Eagles. So it's going to be difficult, especially if they don't help the guy out. You know why? Because he's not just going to see one guy. He's not going to be able to pick up tendencies that easily throughout the game because the Eagles are going to rotate. You're going to see at least 3 different guys on the rush. So you're not going to be able to pick up tendencies as easily as you can if you're going against the same guy all night. And obviously you're not good at it anyway because the same guy got 6 sacks and he wasn't even good.
Question for you, as people have analyzed this game and analyzed the Cowboys' losses, some are saying that the loss of Tyron Smith is huge, obviously. Zeke is huge. But the largest loss is Sean Lee. How do you feel about that? What's your take on Sean Lee?
Largest on an overall scale? I mean, it has been proven that the defense just doesn't tick when he's not in there. I'll still go with Tyron Smith. But, yeah, defensively, it's the same. Like, offensively, Tyron Smith is the biggest loss. Defensively, it's no issue no qualms about it, Sean Lee's loss is huge because you see how good of a linebacker he is when he is healthy, which is rare. Let's go to the phone lines real quick because the homie Tobias called back in. Let's go to the Digital Extreme Tech Hotline. Roll damn Tide. What's going on, Tobias?
Roll damn Tide. At least one of my teams is winning this year.
Back to number one.
Tobias, I picked Jameis to have a breakout season. What the F is wrong with Tampa Bay, man?
He ate his fingers, man. Hey, he was licking his fingers like he had a plate of wings, but I get on that in a second because that's a rant.
Like Gary Hogan.
Hey, but first things first, all these pundits are saying Alabama's vulnerable. Alabama's in trouble at Auburn. All I got to say is the demise of the Alabama Crimson Tide has been greatly exaggerated. We ain't none of Georgia. Let y'all know that. But also, I want to talk about Tampa, right? Sometimes Tampa is in the same boat that the New York Giants are in. Sometimes your head coach is better served to be an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. Because the head coach, you got to be a leader. And the thing is that I think what happens is sometimes these teams, if you got young players you're leaning on, you need some old heads in there who these young guys can say, kind of like with Randy Moss and Chris Carter. Randy Moss, like Chris Carter, taught him how to be a pro, taught him how to do that stuff. Instead of leaving these young guys out by themselves and stop trying to sign flashy names instead of build an infrastructure and a team, like you build it from the inside out. Because, yes, Tampa has all these little flashy weapons, but both lines are trash. You got a coach who has the imagination of an 80-year-old Republican. He has no imagination on offense. Mike Evans supposed to be this great receiver. He never moves him around. Deshaun Jackson, he just throws deep every time.
Tobias, you saying y'all got Jeff Fisher 2.0?
Pretty much. And the thing is, the fans are actually turning on Jameis. They actually want Ryan Fitzpatrick. And I'm like, you idiots.
No, they don't. No, they don't. Don't fall for that.
And see, here's the thing I think. One, I don't want John Gruden to be the coach. He's been out of the game for 10 years. Remember when Joe Gibbs was out of the game for a while? The game's different now. And he wasn't that great anyway.
Joe Gibbs brought back the counter tray.
And I'm like, I gotta be honest with y'all. John Gruden's overrated as a coach anyway. He's overrated, and I'm a fan of the Bucks.
You're the second person I talked to today who said that.
Yeah, I think if you say consultant, someone be on top of things, kind of Coughlin type. Yeah.
Yep, you're the second person that I heard say that today.
Yeah, because think about it, leader of men, right? You remember, like Doug Martin had a drug suspension and he sucked already. Dude getting 2 yards a carry. Dude has worse vision, about bad as vision as Trent Richardson, and that's pretty bad.
Well, don't say that.
Yeah, it ain't that bad. But the thing is,
he
pretty much came back from a
run the ball like he ain't got no eyeball.
Hey, Trent Richardson. Helen Keller has better vision than Trent Richardson. But
blind Miller Richardson.
But the thing is, though. But here's the problem. Yeah, but here's the problem. Doug Martin came back from the drug suspension, pretty much got a starting job back like everything is all good, and he didn't even perform. What kind of message does that send to the locker room? Sometimes you got to be like Coughlin did in Jacksonville. Leonard Fournette, you don't want to make this team photo? You sitting down, win or lose. And I think sometimes you need those type of things to happen to kind of get that team going. I just think that he may be a better coordinator than a head coach.
I feel you. That's the case for a lot of people.
I agree.
They learn that lesson the hard way.
Agree. Because from my perspective, and I don't watch a lot of Tampa games, but I've seen some. It's not a question of talent. Like, it's not a talent thing. 1 through 3 at the receiver, y'all good. I still believe Jameis is the next one of us to climb and ascend that ladder. Doug Martin, I think, maybe offensive line-wise, there is some blame that can be placed there because I think Doug Martin is a quality.
How many years Jameis got in? Because Skyview.
You know what I say? I'll say this.
Skyview made a new man law on social media today. I forgot what the law is. 26.93, something like that. The new man law is like after 4 years, we can no longer use the word potential. With any player.
Jameis ain't 4 years in. This is his third season. This is his third season right here.
But see, here's the thing. Here's the thing also. I think people forget how much of a team game the NFL is. It's also a coaching game, how much coaching matters. Think about how Jared Goff looks in 1 year. They got some new offensive line, but they're coaching. And also, look at Philly. Look at how Carson Wentz is coached. Look how I watched a couple of the games. They're creative. They're not saying, hey, let's just be vanilla, do 7-step drops every time, throw it deep like we Air Coryell. They're creative. And the one thing they did also, Jay Ajayi, he's available. We signed him. What the Bucs do, need a running game. They did nothing. So I think what happens is sometimes your coaching goes a long way. You got to help these guys out. And plus, just think about it. If your offensive and defensive lines are trash, what is that going to do? Because the guy got hurt now. James got hurt. And mind you, this is the same guy that let Buffalo, was having a breakout season until he got to the injury, kind of the shoulder caught up with him. But the thing is, everybody wants the quarterback is an easy target, and I think sometimes there are more things involved with that. And I'll say this one last thing: Marcus Mariota's gotten the biggest free pass in the world.
Yeah, you can't let Marcus end up better than Jameis, man. Marcus Mariota, truck juice. And I want to warn you because we've watched this happen. Just so you know, and I think you're an astute enough sports fan to know this, but I just want to warn you. Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to have 3 straight good games for you. Don't let it fool you. Yo, he is the banana. He is the ultimate banana in the tailpipe. It's not real. It's an oasis. Do not believe it. It's a trick. It's a trap.
Hey, I got to shout out y'all Sixers also. I think the process has worked, but here's the big thing. It can't Embiid stay healthy. If the Embiid can stay healthy, I think you guys going to be legit. But I don't know how long he could be healthy for, but I think the Sixers are on the right track. And
like, big ass fall on the ground too much, man. Scary.
Yeah, because you know the problem is all these people try to get mad at tanking. If the money got to have 75% of the salary to match, it makes it hard to trade. You only got a couple of good players coming in, and all the good players want to go to the same teams. What the hell else do you expect these teams to do then? Be the 8th seed every year? You got to do something.
To tell people.
Yeah.
All right, man. We appreciate your call as usual.
Yeah, I'll leave y'all with this one thing. Thanks for taking my call. And anyone notice every member of the Banana Boat Boys love being an ISO guy who loves holding the ball? But hey, you guys take it easy.
All right, man. That's true. That is not a lie. What's going on, Jimbo Slice? But yeah, that's definitely true. Jimmy, right on time because we're about to talk about this thing of ours. But before we do that, I just wanted to give the stat of the week. What is all the noise going on here? The stat of the week, and it actually comes from what we were just talking about. Joel Embiid, so far this season, has scored more points at the Staples Center than Lonzo Ball. He scored 78 points at the Staples Center. Lonzo Ball has scored 52 points. Now, I know my brothers here can find that funny, but some people might not get it. Like, all right, what does that mean? Okay. Joel Embiid has only played at the Staples Center twice the last few days. And Lonzo Ball, that's his home court. So there's no way in 2 games should Joel Embiid have more points at the Staples Center than Lonzo Ball. So shout out to him. That's crazy. All right, so we're gonna talk more about Joel Embiid, the Sixers, the process, LeBron, and whatever else is going on in the league. But before we do, y'all can check out our website at warroomsports.com. To call in and speak with us about any NBA topics, dial the Digital Extreme Tech hotline at numbers 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted, but if you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you want to talk. Jimmy, you got it?
I definitely got it, man. But before I jump into the hoops, I just want to say a couple things. First thing, Creed 2, y'all better not do what y'all say y'all doing because y'all corny. Yo, LeBron, you corny. Papa John CEO, you corny. Yo, everybody who had a birthday, all y'all corny. What else I want to say? Oh, that's pretty much it. All right, so now we getting this NBA rap. And the NBA rap is brought to you by Audible. If your schedule is too hectic to read as much as you want, here's what you do. You get an audio book. You do that by going to audibletrial.com and get yourself a free audio book. Audible is lit. I just finished the Gabby Union book, and it was probably the best book of 2017. It's amazing. Go get that for free. Just go to audibletrial.com, and we'd like to thank Audible for their support. Now, let's jump into this thing of ours, some hoops. Yo.
What just happened?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. You're good to go.
Okay, all right, let's jump into some hoops then, B. Austin. Something happened and it sounded kind of crazy, but anyway, as I said, basketball is brought to you by Audible. The first thing I want to talk about is that Sixers duo that Tobias just brought up. B. Austin, I don't know how much of the games have you seen, or have you seen any games or not, but I know that we pretty much talk about every Sixers game in the group, and shout out to everybody in the group me at. Watched all the games together and whatnot. That's what we do. For those who are not, into that, join our group because we literally watch the games and talk about each play. But the Sixers, man, started the season was kind of slow, but they did have the toughest schedule in the National Basketball Association. So they're pretty much like 2 and whatever against the supposed playoff teams, but teams they're supposed to beat, they're beating, which is a good sign of a team that's on the come up. But the question is this, though. How scary is this duo? Because right now this duo is playing like out of their mind.
B, you trusting the process yet?
Nah, man. I'm trusting the fact that
he's going Slim Charles.
Yeah. Fight on that line. Fight on that line, dog.
Dude is here.
Fight on that line. Yo, they're going to have 3 parades. He's still going to be like, I ain't trusting that process.
Young legend is doing his thing. I don't know about the tall, light-skinned brother, but my man Robert Covington got paid, so, shout out to him.
You don't know about the light-skinned brother. Boy, you better read some newspapers or something.
Yo, Embiid is scary, but, overall, on the course of the season, the light-skinned brothers fighting their best player. Like, boy, like, that's LeBron.
You better go get some newspapers.
Yo, boy.
That's what you were saying, like the 80s. You better get that newspaper, boy.
Yo, boy's legit left-hand LeBron, yo.
He said, I don't know about the light-skinned brother. No, but this is definitely a scary duo. I mean, you have people like Shaquille O'Neal saying they remind me of a young Penny and Shaq. Like, that's high praise because you don't expect dudes to say they remind me of me, especially dudes as confident and cocky and arrogant as a Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, and this is no disrespect because we don't know how this is going to end up, but, they're better than Penny and Shaq.
Hey.
Hey. No, I'm not from a potential standpoint. I don't mean like right now, take what they've done. But here's the thing. Because I watched them play, and I always jokingly say that it's a lazy comparison, but Embiid reminds me of Olajuwon, and everybody knows just by me saying that why it's a lazy comparison. But as I watched him yesterday, I'm like, he has things in his toolbox Olajuwon didn't have. And he has did he do the dream shake last night?
He did a double dream shake last night.
Yeah.
He did a double dream shake last night and did not travel. Feed word.
He Euro step somebody. He's 17.
Yo, he Afro stepped him.
and he knocks down threes like a wingman. So he has things in his toolbox that even an honorable deity didn't have in his. But it is. He does. Listen, I said he has things in his toolbox.
I mean, and that's just the evolution of basketball, B. You know that. Like, you're going to take the best. You're going to take Akeem, and you're going to pattern your game after his while adding things to it. That's just the evolution of basketball. That's why superstars now, like, LeBron can come in and have some extra stuff with him because he's been watching dudes all throughout his
man,
youth.
They standing on the back,
and just adding stuff to his game.
Listen, man. So you watch him, and then you look at LHL, left-handed LeBron. Like this ball right here, man. He a piece of work, and it's crazy to watch him play.
Lonzo for a dunk. He Aussie stepped.
Did he? And I start to wonder, right? I wonder how much that year off of just like watching the game and being there helps him. Because there's no way it didn't help him, right? But the question is how much did it help him?
Because you remember that tweet that he sent out right before the season that got me hyped when he was talking about the fact that he got a year to sit and watch and learn the game, and I'm way better now. And
he on his Aaron Rodgers joint. He's on his Aaron Rodgers joint, man. Because here's the thing: when I watch him play, it's ultra scary because essentially he's a rookie. This is his first season. He didn't play last year. But even if you look at the guys that came in his class, which is last year, and this year's rookies, it's almost like he's playing at a different speed and with a different confidence. Like Alonzo, for as much as he's struggling, he's not having a terrible season, but his top reason he's having a quote unquote terrible season.
Yeah, he put that target on his back.
Yeah, because when you look at his numbers, boy's like 8.89 or something like that. That's like not a terrible season.
I mean, he did shoot like 11% last night, but
yeah.
How you shoot 11%?
That's definitely the Jason Kidd comparison. Because Jason Kidd was shooting 15%. But anyway,
but your man played him out though. Because Luke didn't even put him back in to try to even his stats out. He just took him out while he had 2 points shooting 11%.
Yeah, he's terrible. But listen, though, my point in saying that is when you watch them heads up, now, granted, he had 1 year ahead of him, but they're both rookies. It just looked like the LHL looks like he's been playing for 10 years already.
Hey, I mean, then you look at somebody like Embiid, who basically has 3 years in, but he only have enough games. He only midway through his rookie season. But he's been in the system for 3 years. So as much as they do, they get to work with professional trainers. They get to work with, they just get to be at a professional complex and just doing things differently than they've ever done it. So yeah, when they make their court debuts, they're just ahead of the curve. It's crazy.
And shout out to Rocco, man. Rocco was got paid, and Rocco was the ball. We clown and joke about Rocco in the group, but it's all love. But we also say Rocco is the top 10 small forward in the league.
Yo, it's crazy because he signed for like for almost like a little over 61, almost 62.
4 for 62.
And I'm looking at that like, yo, this is kind of a steal. And I'm saying that by market value analysis, not me. I wouldn't pay none of these dudes that much. None of them that good to me.
That's because your man Otto Porter, he pulled that truck up like, hold on.
And that's what I was about to say. Like, because I think
backing up.
I think in any negotiations, had he waited to the end of the season, in any negotiations with any team, all he and his agent had to do was walk into the meeting and pull a picture of Otto Porter out of their briefcase, and somebody would have had to back the Brinks truck up to Robert Covington because they're essentially the same player, and Robert Covington's a better defender than Otto Porter. They both stand on the perimeter and launch threes for their team.
Robert Covington is better than Otto Porter.
Yo, a salute to our brother Hank. Cause I mean,
he might be arguable, but I definitely wouldn't have said that last year. Like, I have a love-hate relationship with Robert Covington.
I know the beginning of the season, you was going in on him in the group, like, why you keep shooting these threes?
Because that was that has always been his thing. Like, last year and any year before that, he has never been as good of a three-point shooter as he showed so far this season. So him launching, he makes one early, he will never stop. But this year, he's wet.
Shout out to our brother Hank. I think it was him who pointed this out. He said the way the deal was structured, though, it was one of those deals where he got an immediate raise.
Right.
So he went from like a couple million this year to like $15 million this year. So maybe
and they were able to do that because the Sixers were so far under the cap this year.
Yeah.
They could, let it kick in now. So in 3 years,
so maybe he got a baby on the way or something. Maybe he got a baby on the way. He just want to drop a couple mil on some Bitcoin or something. Like, who knows why he did it? But fact of the matter is, he got a quick raise this year, so he didn't have to wait for that bread.
So it kind of seemed like they looked out for him because he looked out for them. Like, the fact that he didn't try to stick them up for Otto Porter money, you know, that gives you options. Like, you could possibly bring back J.J. next year. You got to try to get his number down, though. J.J. ain't tripping if he think he going to keep getting 23. But
he's drawing.
You can try to get him back in the fold next year. You can still sign another good veteran free agent. Like, I'm still not of the thinking that some Sixers fans are, that you go out and you sign, like, you try to get one of the superstar free agents. Because first of all, at this point, if a superstar free agent signs with us now, he's just a bandwagon jumper. And people keep saying
what the league is. But for me, when I look at the landscape of the league, I just don't know who that would be from like a standpoint of who fits. Like, I have no problem with them jumping out the park to sign someone who's like a bigger name. But who fits
at
with
this
what
point?
they have,
I'm just looking for very good veterans who can help, maybe on both ends.
Because even if we just, like, you know, and I know this is speculation and we're not being serious, we're just throwing this out there. Even if like LeBron wanted to come to Philly, right? Actually, I shouldn't say that because you never know with LeBron. He may really want to come to Philly. But if you don't, he doesn't fit kind of with what they're doing, because LHL essentially is the same player.
It's the same player, yeah.
So how's he supposed to go?
On the left side of the court, just like what's his name? Michael Beasley. He just left-hand mellow. He just mellow on the left side of the court.
He did say that though. But hey, it'll be awesome. I don't know if you followed that, but your man Beasley said that he's mellow just on the other side of the court. He left-hand mellow. Anyway,
he just left-hand mellow. I'm just on the left side of the floor. So basically, he's saying the Knicks ain't losing nothing because I'm just mellow on the left side of the floor.
Yo, but my point is, like,
clown.
I don't see what big name fits with what they're doing, unless they can get like KD, who could just like shoot. I mean, I don't see who else fits.
Who fits everywhere. Yeah, but I'm telling you, I don't want no.
KD ain't a leader though. KD ain't a leader anyway though. KD just wants to be a part of, you know.
I want them to see the process all the way through.
Yo, man, Sam Hinkie died for this, man. Sam Hinkie definitely died for this.
So B. Austin can keep Slim Charleston on this whole thing.
Yeah. But here's the thing about the process, though, right? And I see a lot of discussion about the process. Was it smart? Was it the right thing to do? I heard what Tobias said about it. But the fact of the matter is, even if you do that, if you tank, it's not just as simple as tanking. You have to make the right decisions because
not a guarantee.
For my entire childhood, over like a 20-year period, the Clippers got picked in the top 5 the entire time, and
messed it up.
They always picked the wrong person. Shout out to Michael Olowokandi.
Or even when they had a lot of talent. I don't know if you guys remember. It might have been like 97, 98 when they were on the cover of the Source magazine with like Darius Miles, Odom, Quentin Richardson, and they were like, you know, this team is next up. Like, they had the names, they had the people.
Corey Maggette.
But what they didn't realize is the way it was structured back then. There was no way you were going to keep all of those dudes together once it was payday. Once it was time to pay everybody.
Beyond that, but you got to understand that came
on my
together
block when it's pay me time. You know what I mean?
That came together at that time, but the Clippers was picking in the top 5 for since the 70s though. Like
exactly. Like,
you look back at Clipper players, like I mean, Doc Rivers was one of the early picks.
And you know what? Because there were a lot of questionable decisions throughout the process that people would curse the Sixers for, and now look at it, because if you didn't do some of that stuff, what they have now wouldn't be possible. People up in arms. Why are they trading Drew Holiday? People up in arms. Why are they getting rid of Michael Rookie of the Year, Turkey, Bum Chris, whatever his name is. Yeah, B. Austin Ball, who up until last year, he still didn't understand why we got rid of Ball. Yo, boy ain't played 6 minutes since.
Yo, but here's the
he ain't been hurt the whole time. He just ain't good enough to play 6 minutes since.
Here's what's crazy.
People knew.
What's crazy about Michael Carter Williams is, and I hate to say this, right, but that's kind of what Lonzo's reminding me of. Like, he's putting the numbers up, but I'm like, as I watch it, I'm like, this is kind of Michael Carter Williams like. Even though Michael Carter Williams actually played better, but in terms of how his numbers come, they're not really, they don't mean anything.
Yeah. Like Lonzo Ball is going to give you, on his good nights, most of his good nights, he's going to give you a high triple single. You know what I'm saying? Like an almost. No, but real talk, like an almost Rondo. He's going to give you an almost Rondo. Rondo's the master of 10-10-10. Yeah, Rondo will give you the 10-10-10. Lonzo gonna give you the 9-9-9s and the 8-8-8.
Yo, what's the black boy? What's the black boy that ran for president a couple years ago, and that was his tax plan, and everybody's a joke with him. Not Ben Carson, the other black boy, Herman Cain. That was his tax plan. 9-9-9. He said
you got Lonzo.
Federal tax, state tax, every tax is 9%. 9-9-9. So we'll call that the Herman Cain line. Put that some Herman Cain numbers, man. 9-9-9. But yeah, so it's kind of weird to watch it. I'm like, this is kind of like the Michael Carter Williams numbers that B. Austin fell in love with. But you know, it is what it is, man.
I'm glad we dodged that bullet. Boy, it's trash. Shout out to Frank Santos because we all got on him for saying Bo was going to be in Turkey in 5 years. He is on the brink. He is on the brink. He's about to be in Turkey. If they want him.
What would you ask? What would you say, B. Austin?
I was saying, how concerned are you? Because I know you don't want to be in the prisoner of the moment category, but how concerned are you with Lonzo Ball? Like, is this indicative of a negative course he could go down, or is he going to turn it around? What are your thoughts?
I honestly don't care. As long as he get out the way and get the ball to King Kuz. We got King Kuz in the building, dog. That's our draft pick. Our draft pick ain't Lonzo. What you talking about? Our draft pick is King Kuz. King Kuz is that dude. He was trying to go with the big two yesterday on the dolo.
I was kind of wondering why Magic Johnson was willing to jump out there the way he did when they drafted Lonzo Ball, you know, saying he's the face of the franchise and this and that.
That's marketing.
Like, damn, you ain't got to earn it no more, Magic? Like,
that's marketing, man. That's all marketing. That's part of the hype.
Jimmy said, Magic has been in the business world so long that he's sold on that whole marketing.
He's selling a product. He's saying that. Think about how bad the team was last year. He said that they got more national games than anybody. Their ticket sales went through the roof. Like, he was on, him and VAR was on a hype train, making money.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, Lonzo Ball is almost like on the Floyd tip, just without the skills. Like, everybody going to watch them to, like, it's amazing. The Lakers could be playing somebody terrible in the middle of the week, but people just watch just to see him fail. It's just pop fault.
And the crazier part, like, because you brought up that comparison people have been making lately between him and Jason Kidd in their rookie years with the numbers being similar. See, what people leave out of that whole part is that Jason Kidd was having shooting struggles, but he was a very good defender from the moment he stepped into the league. He wasn't, like, locking people up, but he was a very good defender the moment he stepped into the Lonzo guards no one. And he legit looked afraid last night with Ben Simmons.
And he be fake guarding people too, and I know I can recognize it because I used to do that too when I didn't feel like it. Like, he be fake guarding people, like, you know, you get in the stance, you slap the floor, you fake the energy, but you really ain't out there doing nothing.
Them balls just run right by you.
Yeah. And I can listen. I'm telling you, I'll keep it at a bean. I can spot that because I've done that. So I can see that. Like, he be trying to fake lock down people, man. It's like, who is he fooling? And it's almost like what you said. It's almost like he's scared. Like, he has talent, but he seems scared. Like, and I know he has a laid back personality, but at some point, I don't know, like, if you can continue to play like that.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. Because I've said that myself. I'm like, his personality doesn't match what he needs to be right now. He needs to be a dog. And he ain't.
And the crazy part about it is, like, because he's got close to the spotlight and playing like that, Clarkson's playing better. It's sort of like a match has been lit under him. So when he comes in off the pond, he's going full speed.
His damn spot back.
Yeah, and the thing is,
he's laying his game flat. He won his spot back. Take two.
So between him and King Kuz, listen, King Kuz is that dude, B. I don't know if you watch him Lakers play, man, but Kuz is the future, man. And he's Philly, PSP.
I've seen him hoop, and I think, you know what, a part of it is when you speak of fear, it's not necessarily a fear of his opponent. I think that Lonzo has been groomed and is so used to being at the top of the pile. He's now in a place where it ain't going to come easy. I'm not saying he's not willing to work, but he's like, oh, snap, I'm in here with these sharks and these piranha. I don't want to look bad, so I don't want to give the effort to end up looking bad, and that is backfiring on him. Like he's scared.
See, but I think it's also a situation where he just turned 20. I mean, it's like 15 games into the season, so it's not that long. But the problem is, it's kind of like his pop put this bullseye on him that we were talking about all before the draft and all before then, because if you just
his pop threw him in the Shark Tank, cuz.
Exactly, because if you just look at how he's played or whatever, if it wasn't for the hype, it wouldn't be as bad as it seems. If it wasn't for the hype, it really wouldn't be as bad as it seems.
His pop took a knife, sliced his arm, and then threw him in the Shark Tank.
You're talking about a guy who's the youngest player in the history of the league to get a triple-double. He's put up 29 points in one game. He's been consistently putting up Herman Cain numbers.
I see the
but
talent.
It seems like he's having a worse season ever.
I see the talent, but I also think there's a problem there, man, because the level of aggression and then also, Dev, to your point about Jason, about Ace and Kidd. Ace and Kidd, to me, was a better athlete. Like, Lonzo is a marginal to slightly better than marginal NBA athlete. Like, he's not a freakish athlete.
I don't know about that either. I think Jason Kidd was way more aggressive. And I actually, to me, Jason Kidd is probably one of the smartest players I've ever seen play. Just in terms of how he controlled the game without, like, really having to score. Like, he's probably one of the most intelligent players I've seen play. But even beyond that, I don't think he was uber athletic, but I think that he was, like, a worker, and he was way more aggressive. Because the fact of the matter is he did shoot 15% as a young boy, but he kept launching threes to the point where he's one of the all-time three-point shot makers.
Lonzo keeps settling for the three right now. Like, put a move on somebody. He's 6'6". I know everybody on that team need a sandwich, but you're 6'6". Go to most nights. I mean, it's not going to happen against Ben Simmons, but on most nights, you're bigger than your matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the hole on some of these dudes. Establish a post game. Do something. But he has to be more aggressive on the offensive end.
But the thing is, when you watch him play at UCLA, he wasn't aggressive there either. It's just that, like, the point that the Austin has made is there wasn't sharks out at you every night. This ain't the Pac-10, beloved. Like, you look at the NBA at that position, it's like that's probably the most difficult position night in and night out. Like,
and that's what they should have noticed, though, because when the Sharks did come to UCLA, they kind of cracked his head.
Yeah, exactly. When them Sharks came to UCLA at that level, he even struggled then. So, like,
but there was also
NBA,
moments, though, because he wasn't always aggressive, but there was also moments, like when UCLA needed something, he would go on a spurt by himself.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, it ain't that easy in the league.
That's just because he was good enough to do so. Man, when guys like, Russell Westbrook is going to American need him. Like, he's going to be a straight-up American need.
He's going to Pulp Fiction boy.
De'Aaron Fox is, for being a rookie, De'Aaron Fox is talking that American me as well. Like, he's trying to pulverize dude.
I like De'Aaron Fox, but I don't even want to hear
his
his name right now because he's making me salty about this trip. This could have been a 4-1 Western swing. He hit us with that buzzer beater, man.
B. Austin, here's the thing. Everybody is trying to take this boy's food. Even last night, when the young legend had a young legend type game, who did he troll after the game? VAR don't even play. VAR's a point guard. He trolled him, though.
And you saw every time Ben Simmons made a move on him, he would look over to the crowd and say, you can't guard me.
This boy made love to Brook Lopez and still after the game went after Lonzo.
To your point, it was a random night, and I saw Lonzo checking Ricky Rubio, and I swear for God, I've never seen Ricky Rubio that aggressive. Ricky Rubio.
I think that's who Lonzo is right now.
Yeah,
Ricky Rubio. and y'all know that's not a diss. Y'all know I've always been a fan of Ricky Rubio. But think about it. He struggled with his jump shot. He was a great passer. He could rebound because he was a big guard, 6'6", 6'7". And, well, I'm probably exaggerating his height a little bit, but he was a bigger guard. And, he could run the team, but you can't expect much from him if you needed offense. So
the problem in the NBA,
Ricky Rubio with much more fame and height.
It's almost to the point now, right? And I had this thought. A quick thing though also is shout out to my man who texted me last night, said don't worry about it, Lonzo won't get a ring even if his brother has to steal one for him. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But here's the thing though, I often wonder if the prototypical Jason Kidd, Magic Johnson type point guard is even relevant in today's game. Even like, Rondo was kind of that way, right? But although he couldn't shoot, but neither can Lonzo or Jason Kidd. But my point is, when you go night in and night out, and you go against Westbrook, you go against Damian Lillard, you go against Ben Simmons, you go like this is night in and night out. Like these are the guys that you have to compete against. Like I wonder if that even works because you're trying to facilitate and do all these things, but you're going to exert yourself so much on defense that you kind of have to give offense back to the other person to make them kind of like, defend. So I wonder if that skill set even works with where the game is.
Jimmy, we wouldn't know because he don't try on defense. It would be one thing if you were saying this and you saw the effort on D and he is saying, well, it's not working, but Bull can't score and don't defend.
But no, my point is when you're not aggressive and you can't score, you're not making your opponent work on defense. It's sort of like if Westbrook plays Lillard, they're both going to kind of cancel each other out, but also make the other person work. When you're sitting there and you have to play Damian Lillard as Alonzo, and he can like basically relax because you can't shoot. They're giving him threes. You can't shoot, so they're giving you the shot, and he gets to relax. But then on the other side of the ball.
I understand completely. You're right. But what I'm saying is he's not going to work to begin with because Lonzo doesn't really defend. He don't give effort.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is if you're not even going to give effort, at least make the other guy work or make the other guy work on defense. You see what I'm saying? Like if you're not even going to give effort on defense, that's one thing. But make the other guy work. Like, there's games where like
James Harden.
Yo.
Right, James is gonna make you work because he ain't gonna guard.
And that's a great example of what I'm saying. James ain't gonna play no defense, but if you guard him, he gonna give you 60 and you have to work. Like you're gonna have to work. That's his defense. His defense is his offense. His defense is I'm gonna give you 40, 10, and 10. And you have to work. Anyway, man. So I mean, this is just like some early season observations. We'll see how things happen as the season progresses. The Sixers' young guys definitely look special, as we brought up, and Lonzo definitely looks unspecial.
You didn't answer. Are you worried about Duke?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I told you why.
Okay.
It's all about King Kuz for me. I don't think that. I mean, it's too early for me to make a determination on how good he can be.
I asked this to Rob earlier when he called. Like, dead serious question, not even trying to be funny. Would you put Lonzo down in the G League, or do you think his name is just too big for that? Or do you think it'll destroy his confidence even more?
I think the latter. I think with everything going on with what he has to kind of like play through it. I wouldn't put him in the G League. Shout out to the G League. You know what I mean? Everything's for sale. But I wouldn't do it just for that reason. If he wasn't, and this is another situation with the hype train and his pop and all that, where it's like that affects kind of how you have to like manage his game and how you coach him and how you manage him.
Well, Skyview said, I don't know how many of y'all have brothers, but if one of my brothers were facing trouble, I'd be a little off too. That's an excuse. He's been off the whole
damn season. That's a definite excuse.
We love you, but you a noodle for even bringing that excuse up.
That's an excuse, doggy. That's an excuse, doggy. Because my thing is, if your brother's in trouble, the court should be your refuge where you get away from all your personal issues and then let it hang out. You know what I'm saying?
Isaiah Thomas shifty gets banged down and he dropped 50. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Some dudes just got the dog. Some don't.
Michael Jordan, selfish ass, got his pop killed by the mob, but he did come back and win that shit for it and play through it all. Like the court is supposed to be where you get away from all that.
Yeah, Robert Covington didn't get drafted, did he?
I don't know, but that's amazing to get $60 million if you didn't get drafted.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think he went undrafted.
Still got
went to Tennessee State.
Salute to him.
Yeah, shout out to Rocco.
Bull couldn't play basketball. He was just an athlete.
You ever heard him talk?
Anyway,
though?
Man.
He need a new voice. He got to buy a new voice with that money.
Yo, it's a video online. It's like the Sixers playing that a dad joke game where they try to make each other laugh. Yo, none of them dudes can talk.
Bo be like, He'd be like, I don't know what you're saying. Like, his voice is terrible.
Yo,
my new voice.
It can't be worse. It can't be worse than Charles Woodson, though. Heavens to
no, Charles Woodson just sound like a cartoon character.
None of them dudes could talk, and Dario looked like he got chopped up in some sort of like drug war or something. So,
Dario looked like he tried to bite a socket.
Yeah, man.
Let's go.
No doubt.
Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here before people realize what I just said.
Get out of here. Yo, I know. I'm just being quiet, man. Thank you for joining us for another brief in the war room. Shout out to everybody in the chat room, Facebook, Twitter, everybody in our group me app. Salute to y'all. And other callers who called and got in. We appreciate those we can get to. We apologize. Special thanks to our investment picks and fair. Everybody comes on. Salute to y'all for being a part of the show. Tune in next week live right here on demand on the WRS Podcast Network as we recap Week 11 and preview Week 12 of the NFL. And, of course, catch up on everything happening in the National Basketball Association. You know what I'm saying? So that thing of ours. So until then, enjoy your weekend, enjoy your week, and we'll see you right back here next time. Catch everything we do at the Hub, and the Hub is warroomsports.com. Also, pick up my book at sportsthebook.com or back at that Hub, which is warroomsports.com. So until next time, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in war against ignorance, and we'll see you chumps on top. R.I.P. Dr. Naismith.
Jimmy, know the blueprint. Every Thursday, 6 to 8, they do this. Shout out to Dev, PJ, B. Austin, Doc Bay on replay. WarRoomSports.com. Get that mobile app. If not, dial 323-140012. They be going and you sensitive, then oh well. Physical podcast, let's talk sports. Showtime like magic in the block push. Listen live, push one to join in. Rip your team or listen for your enjoyment. Hip hop scholars, pit stop and knowledge. Should be in sports credits, I ain't talking college. 5 guys, no beef though. Corporate secret, but the streets know. Belafonte, I got a G flow. KC royalty, I'm in beast mode. 2 hours, get your game up. Who's the best in sportscast? You better name us. War Room Sports. Yeah, you know, Jimmy, Dev, DJ, Doc Beck, B. Austin. I'm shot. Up and coming on the beat.
War Room Sports, www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.